So welcome to Ruth Chapter 3! Here we have Naomi and Ruth, and they've been living together for a while now. And they're having a cup of tea and enjoying it, and then Naomi's like, "Hey Ruth, I should probably find you a home. You know who's a nice guy? That Boaz guy. That Boaz guy is pretty nice, and he's also our kinsman redeemer. What a coinky-dink." And Ruth is like, "Yeah, he is pretty nice. He's so generous." And she's like, "Tonight, he's going to be at the threshing floor." And then, what is a threshing floor, you ask? Well, a threshing floor is the place where they take all the grain at the end of the harvest to like separate the grain from whatever it's attached to, and the wind would blow it. So it was usually outside. And Naomi's like, "I want you to go there and find Boaz. And I want you to go there tonight." And so Ruth gets all dolled up, and she puts some makeup on. That's her looking in the mirror and putting her clown makeup on, apparently. And, you know, she's putting on her best dress, and she's putting on some perfume and washing herself. And then she goes to the threshing floor. But Naomi tells her not to go up to him when he's eating and drinking with all his friends and stuff. So Ruth has to, like, go there undetected. So she's kind of hiding until they all fall asleep, and then once they fall asleep, she needs to go and find Boaz without being detected. So she's kind of has to be a ninja, pretty much. And so she goes and finds him, and Naomi tells her to bare his feet, to like uncover his feet and then lie down. And so Ruth uncovers his feet and she lies down at his feet. And so then in the middle of the night, something startles Boaz, and he's like, "Who's that lying at the end of my bed?" And Ruth is like, "Oh, I'm your servant Ruth." She says, "Spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are a kinsman redeemer." And he's like, "Oh, the Lord bless you, my daughter." He says, "You know, you have not run after young men, whether rich or poor, and now, my daughter, don't be afraid. I will do for you what you ask." So what she's kind of asking is for him to like look after her. But so a complication occurs, and we find out that Elimelech actually has someone who is closer in kin than Boaz, which was the guy with the hat. But Boaz says, "If he's not willing, as surely as the Lord lives, I will do it." So the kinsman redeemer like redeems the people who are in need, who are relatives. And then he tells her to lie there till morning, and in the morning, before anyone else is awake, Boaz is like, "Psst, hey Ruth, come here." And he says for her to go, and don't let it be known that a woman came to the threshing floor, because it can kind of look dodgy. So he's like, "You should probably go home." But before you do that, give me your shawl so I can fill it with grain. So he fills it with a buttload of grain, which would have been pretty hard to carry. So that's Ruth trying to carry it home. It kind of looks like she's a turtle, but whatever. And then Ruth goes home, and it's, you know, a bit later, and she sees Naomi, and she's got her bag of grain, and Naomi's like, "So, what happened? Tell me the goss." And Ruth tells her what happened, and it's like, "Oh yeah, Boaz said that there's another kinsman, grain, blah 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 blah, but you know, he'll ask this guy." And so Naomi's like, "Don't do anything, he'll sort it out, like just let things kind of happen. Him sort it out, so don't do anything until morning." And then we have chapter 4, and so Boaz gets like these 10 elder guys to come from town, and then he goes up to this kinsman redeemer who I gave a monocle and a hat because I think that's cool, and he's like, "Hey kinsman redeemer, Naomi is selling her land." He's like, "I kind of want it, but you know, you have first dibs." And he's like, "Thanks, I'll redeem it." And that's where the story ends. Just kidding. As the audience, we're like, "What? No!" And he's like, "Doo doo doo doo," and Boaz is like, "Okay, but that means you get Ruth too." And then he's like, "Oh, on second thought, you can have it. Wouldn't want to risk my own land." Explain that later. And then we have a sandal transaction, which was just like this kind of legal transaction where someone takes off their shoe and gives it to someone else. Yep, it's weird. Whatever. Moving on. And then Boaz is like, in front of all of you, I want you to know that I'm buying this land, and by buying this land, I'm also taking Ruth as my wife. And the audience is like, whew, thank goodness that happened. And then Ruth and Boaz are married, and, you know, we all live happily after. And the Lord helps her conceive. Oh, I spelled conceive wrong. That's awkward. And then Ruth has her baby, and Naomi has her inheritance baby. The end.